There's wisdom in the colors we choose to wear on our bodies as clothing. I love to wear white. In Ayurveda, I learned that white helps one to keep their energy clear and reflect back to others clearly. It's interesting when you look at traditional white garments and what they symbolize and what they mean. One thing about white in a practical sense is that it's really easy to get it stained. I love buying white clothes and I wear them and I enjoy them, but I hate being worried and nitpicky, and I love to live life, get messy, and have fun. So this is a white garment I picked up. I enjoyed wearing it a few times. I got a makeup stain on it, and it has this sort of chic rip. It's not quite the pure white garment anymore. So today I'm going to show you how to tie-dye in a really easy way to give a garment that was once white and giving you that clarity and purity a whole new life of color and magic. Each color has an energy to it. And when we can match and balance our energies with the colors that we wear, we can harmonize our whole being. So for me, when I had my Ayurvedic astrology chart read, it was suggested to wear orange, red, and warm colors like gold and white. White is not a warm color, but that is a special color for me. So choosing my color for this shirt, I think will go with some warm tones. Now, always when you tie-dye, I recommend wearing gloves to protect your hands from the chemicals. So, here are my tie-dye strings. You see I bought a package with all different colors in it. And this is a blue purple. These are the red and orange and warm hues. The thing I like to do with tie-dye is I do like to combine a number of colors just for interest. And the way that you tie your strings on can affect the pattern. Wherever the string is touching is where you'll get your most color. So you can do a bullseye type of pattern where you just grab it and cinch it and tie them round and round. I'm not as into the bullseye pattern today. I think what I'm going to do is more of a vertical line pattern. So I take the shirt vertically. I'm going to want that to be how my strings are tied in a vertical pattern. So I'm scrunching it up, and then I'm going to tie it up. So we take our strings, and it doesn't have to be very exact. We're just going to wrap, 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 and then tie it or tuck it in to the ends. My gloves are a little big. I recommend getting gloves that fit, but for me, the smalls are too small and the mediums are obviously a little too large. You don't even really have to tie it. The main thing you're going for is just getting contact. So I'm not even going to tie it. So we're just going to wrap this little baby up. I mean the shirt. And to make it interesting, I think to keep the colors warm, I'm going to go with one green string, and that'll bring some brown. When you mix green and red, you get a brown. And we're just going rough here. We're just getting kind of a wild pattern with the dye strings. And you can do this literally in minutes. The main thing you want to pay attention to is that the dye will leak and fade with this method that I'm showing you. And for me, that's no problem because I like to refresh my garments often and make them different and interesting every time. So we're just getting color on here. We're just filling it with color. Now on the instructions it says once you get it wrapped up and they say to tie it, then you are to boil it for a period of time. Again, I go with the quick, the easy way, and so we're just going to pour boiling water into a full sink and let it soak. Okay, so with the green strings, they're going to be really obvious, really clearly different, and so I'm going to just do something a little different with them. I'm going to scrunch it up one more time, and I'm going to wrap it all around. Make a nice little tight bundle of clothing. This way, and then we're going to take one more green string and go the other way. People often think, oh, everything has to be so perfect. If you're an artist, you have to pay attention to detail. Well, sometimes paying attention to detail is making the most of your time and of your life and having fun and being loose and easy. And this is a brilliant way to have it loose and easy. So I'm going ahead and plugging my sink so the dye in the water will make like a bath for it. And you see the dye, there was some wetness on my gloves. It's already starting to come off. It's a very available source of dye. And they're already put into the strings, which brilliantly allows for the dye to be a one-shot dye bath. So please come close and see how we do this. So look at how the color, can you see that? How the color is coming off the strings and onto the garment. And the green is a strong color. I hope my sink is filling up here. There we go. And look at the richness of that color. Look how beautiful. So I want some strong color, so I'm not going to add more water. I'm going to let it soak. And the places that are touching the dye are going to be strong colors. And the places that are kind of not resting in the dye bath will be light, and maybe even we'll have some whites. So we're just going to let that sit. I'm going to turn it once in a while, and we're going to give it about 10 minutes. And come back and unwrap it and see the finished product. Alright, so we've let the dye sit in the dye bath for a nice long time, and the longer it sits, the stronger the color will be. And this is going to be interesting because it's really sat in a strong color bath. We're going to have some deep, rich colors, and there's areas that the color hasn't even touched. So let's look and see here what we come up with. So yeah, I'm just pulling all the strings off. No big deal. Just messy. It's a little messy. But I'm careful not to get it back in the dye bath because what I was wanting was these deep, rich colors in some areas and then really light colors in other areas where it wasn't sitting in the dye bath. So I'm careful not to re-dip it. And that's really the only thing that I'm careful about in this situation. Wow, now look at that color. We have a really, really beautiful and dynamic piece here. And now as it dries, it's going to be a little bit lighter. You can assume, there's the back, you can assume all the colors once they dry are going to be a little lighter. And notice how the lace didn't take the dye as strongly because it was more of a plastic material. Cotton is what will take the dye and hang on to it really well. So this is a great at-home dye project you can do to give your clothes new life. Now I really like this area here around the hole. For some reason here around the hole it didn't get immersed, I guess. It was tied up really well. and it has this lightness and just a really interesting look. We only used green strings and like burgundy red strings, but still we're getting purples. We were getting almost some yellows that must have been coming out of the green. And look how yellow this lace is. Well, it's just beautiful, and perhaps my next instructional video, I would wear this. Yeah, it's still maybe more of a work shirt. I don't know if I'll really wear it on film, but it was never a fancy piece to begin with. But now it's got a whole new life. And when I'm working in the dirt, I don't have to worry about getting stains on my beautiful white clothes. I have new clothes that I can keep pure and white for those white moments. And this has now segued into a lovely work, creative, get dirty, get messy kind of shirt. Thanks so much for joining me today, and enjoy all the art that you can bring into your life. Mwah. Blessings. Here's the finished product of my shirt. This area was the area that sat in the dye. This is the lighter area where you can see the dye was sitting out and just touches of color. Notice how the synthetic lace took the color very differently, and it almost looks like it's separated. The green string must have had yellow and blue. Well, I'm pleased with my finished product. It's not exactly evening wear, but great for a day around the house. Remember, find your special magic colors, and don't be afraid to let them shine. Be well.